We got it? Call the Public Safety and Emergency Service Committee to order. If you have any cell phones, please put them on mute. The cameras are very sensitive. And they'll hear everything that goes on out there, so. I'd like everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Full house.
And Doreen, if you'd like to do the roll call?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sutherland, here. Ramos. Sierra.
Here.
Sassy.
Here.
Cheney.
Here.
Skevich.
Here.
DeGanga.
Here.
7 present, 1 absent.
All right, thank you. And it's a
Oh, no,
President's
7.
day. Everybody's here. Thank you so much. We're gonna start off with our county exec, Steve Newhouse. We have anybody from his
Harry
office?
Ford.
Harry's here. So we have Harry Ford representing the county exec. It is a request for confirmation of the appointment and reappointments to the Orange County Fire Advisory Board. It's N. Aaliyah, T. Amadio. I don't know their first names, so you have to excuse me. Mike McNamee, J. Connor, R. Vogue, S. Christian, R. Graham, R. Launt, T. McBride, E. Pavlik Jr., and F. Spinelli. And this is legislative request 140.
So moved.
Okay, Rob, and second. Got you. Joel. All right, the floor is all yours.
Okay, these are appointments and reappointments mostly to the Orange County Fire Advisory Board. They come to the county executive from the different battalions and also from the 3 cities. The only new appointment is Nick Elia from Middletown. Otherwise, the rest of them are all reappointments, and we're looking for your confirmation of these appointments by the executive.
Okay, does anybody have any questions, any comments? No, if I'm not seeing any, I'd like to call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you so
Madam
much.
Chairman. Appreciate it.
Next, we have District Attorney David Hoovler, and we have Chris Borick here representing our District Attorney. It's a request to accept and appropriate funds for the fiscal period of 1/1/2025 through 12/3/2025 for the Crimes Against Revenue Program grant from the Department of Criminal Justice Services for the Orange County District Attorney. The funds of the Crimes Against Revenue Program grant will support investigation and prosecution of crimes committed within Orange County borders, which wrongfully deprive New York State of funds which were otherwise due it. It's in the amount of $112,810. It's legislative request 146.
So moved.
Second. You all want to sponsor this? Because you all jumped in? Yes, okay. All right, the floor's all yours.
Okay, so the Crimes Against Revenue Program grant is a DCGS grant we've had since about 2015. It's designed by the state to enhance prosecutions where the state gets money back. So this would include like public benefits fraud, Medicaid fraud, tax fraud, that kind of thing. And this money pays part of the salary of the senior ADA who we have who does the bulk of those cases and the bulk of the white collar cases.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, seeing no questions, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Department of Emergency Services, Commissioner Sirigliano. And it's letter A is a request to accept and appropriate emergency services fiscal year 2024 state interoperable communications grant, the 2024 SICG formula funds. The grant term is 1/1/2024 through 12/31/2026. Orange County E911 proposes using the funding to pay for fiber connectivity with the municipality's maintenance of the P25 tower system proactive monitoring of the P25 tower system, and radio console equipment. The grant is in $869,000 and that's legislative request 154.
Second.
John. The floor is all yours, sir.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Schmidt to expound on that.
Hello. Just to elaborate on the grant, fiber connectivity is from our CAD system for 911 to remote locations, also for our radio system, maintenance, which is ongoing every year, and monitoring, including cybersecurity monitoring and radio equipment for consoles.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from anybody? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Anybody opposed? All right, letter B, request supplemental appropriations for the Emergency Services Real-Time 911 EOC operational upgrade. This appropriation is from the general funds assigned Public Safety Enhancement Fund balance to the capital project budget. This is proposed capital project number 63 in the 2025 capital plan. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created in the amount of $5 million. Legislative request 147.
So moved.
Ron and Janet. Okay, the floor is on yours, Commissioner.
All right, I think you guys received the PowerPoint, maybe included with your packets for this project. Very excited about the potential of this project. Really, at the end of the day, what we're looking to do here in Orange County, obviously, public safety is our top priority. It's your top priority, the county exec's top priority, and certainly mine. Going to a real-time intelligence center format is not necessarily, real-time is not necessarily a new concept. Dutchess County, Rockland County, Westchester have all adopted a real-time philosophy. Either they're in the process of building it or they already have it. Here in Orange County, what I think is going to make this unique in a lot of ways is that we already have a beautiful building built back in 2008. I give credit to whoever designed the initial building because we still get counties coming in on almost a monthly basis, touring our facility. It's tremendous. It's beautiful. It was built for the future. And the luxury for us is we have a radio system that works throughout the county. We have a building that co-locates our 911, 311, and our emergency management, emergency operations center, all in the same facility. We are well ahead of the game when it comes to that. The next thing we need to do is gut our interior. The shell is perfect. Gut our interior. We need to update our hardware and our software in our center. It's outdated. The PowerPoint kind of highlights a lot of the infrastructure as far as the hardware and software is outdated. It's glitchy. We're not tapping into the number of video feeds that we have throughout this county that we should be capitalizing on. I've toured several different real-time facilities to get some ideas as to what really makes the most sense. But at the end of the day, really what this comes down to is I need to arm my dispatchers with more information. They do a tremendous job. However, they rely on about 30 seconds of a 911 call of somebody who potentially is screaming on the other end. They know the location of that caller, but they need more. They need real-time intelligence as to what's happening. This is going to help all disciplines: fire, EMS, law enforcement, emergency management, and building this for the future for Orange County. I'm very excited about it. I think it has potential to be not only one of the best in New York State, but one of the best in the country. And we're going to a real-time intelligence center. Real-time crime is one aspect. And a lot of counties, you'll hear real-time crime intelligence center, real-time crime, et cetera. This is real-time intelligence feeding our 911 operation. I think other counties might be cutting themselves short, but in the same token, they might not have the setup that we currently have here in Orange County. That big, beautiful building, 911, 311, EOC, all in the same building, now feeding it real-time intelligence. So I need to give the dispatchers more information. Analysts will be on the floor feeding them that information. And it's not, again, not just crime focused. This is public safety focused. I've given you guys examples throughout the, meetings that we've had. And the perfect example, and I hear it every day. Every day I listen to the radio and I hear of even on my way over here, there's a car accident on State Route 17, getting the traffic update, not just what EMS personnel has to go, not just the location of the fire trucks, what's the traffic pattern, where's the detour, tapping into those cameras that are out there, tapping into license plate readers, tapping into traffic cameras that we have on the interstates that we're not accessing because our technology is not there, software is not there. So it's endless. I hear it every day, and I know it's going to be very beneficial for public safety in Orange County. I don't take that number lightly. I don't take this investment lightly. I know it's a high dollar amount, but in the end, I think it's going to make us top notch.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Wow, everybody knows it all today. So I have a question. How long will this take to actually build? And how are you planning on being able to integrate a new system while still maintaining the old system?
I wish it was built yesterday, but to be realistic, I've been planning a lot of the workings for this project, especially with my team. And we have a consultant lined up to start the process on helping us get the right build. I'm hopeful by fall of next year. I'm very optimistic. I want it done yesterday, but in the same token, it's going to require a build. It will not. Part of this build includes a real-time intelligence center room. None of this will impact the 911 operation, the day-to-day operation. That will still continue. Deputy Commissioner Schmidt still has his 911 floor reconfiguration project. It's a capital project that's already established. That's going to kind of work in conjunction with this project, which will be great. So we'll tie the two together, and everything that we're putting in place with all these other projects that we're doing throughout the county, such as a school mapping program, all that stuff feeds into this schematic mapping for schools, going live on the school mapping, relaying that information to EMS and fire and law enforcement. It all is going to tie together on the back end. So I'm hopeful within a year that this thing could be operational, but this will not impact the day-to-day.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look forward to
Thank
hearing
you.
more about this.
Yes,
as it
absolutely.
progresses.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Sheriff Paul Arteta, Under Sheriff Garcia, Under Sheriff Mallard, and Chief for the Sheriff's Office Montgomery.
We have replacements.
Oh, we have replacements.
Where's bodyguards? We'll set up front case.
There's seats there if you want to jump on. Okay, request is that the Orange County legislators send a home rule request to the New York State Legislature to pass proposed legislation for Assembly Bill A 6756 and Senate Bill S 5726, providing certain death benefits to correction officers, correction officer sergeants, correction officer lieutenants, correction officer captains, majors, colonels, assistant wardens, associate wardens, and wardens employed by the County of Orange. This is legislative request 161.
So moved.
Second row. Janet, and all yours, Sheriff.
Good afternoon, everybody. Eric Colby, who is our COLA president, is here. And he had brought this up to me some time ago, expressing the importance to his membership in getting this home rule request done for basically it's called the death gamble. So once a correction officer reaches his retirement time in the system, and then continues to work beyond that, and suddenly passes away, they lose their retirement, and there's a supplement that they get. It's a like an insurance buyout. This death gamble was created for the ability to retain qualified personnel beyond their year of retirement, so that we can train a lot of our newer folks while retaining these important assets to our facility. It also offers financial security for the families, which, the insurance buyout is it's a large sum of money, but it's not enough to carry their families through, you know, the oncoming years without their loved one. This rule was created for law enforcement, firefighters, and teachers. And we're looking to do a home rule request so that we can get it here for our correction officers. I don't know if you want to hear from the president. He loves to speak in public.
I did speak to him outside, so that, you know, not to embarrass him or anything. And this is actually, coming from the correction side, this is a very important thing, because if you took someone who came into the field with a profession at, you know, anywhere between 21 and 22, and you add that 25 years, they're not even 50 by the time they would hit that number. So they wouldn't technically be ready to retire unless they wanted to go into another field or another. But if they did stay on because they were capable and they did bring the experience, this is a definite downfall for if something did happen.
We have a lot of experienced officers, and it's a shame that 25 years, they hit the door for whatever reason. But if we can keep them a little bit longer to help with training, recruitment, it's a benefit to the county as well as the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. Does anybody have any questions?
Relative to it being a home rule request, so it's already on the books, but we just haven't asked to be part of it.
Right.
Is that correct?
It's on the books, the state and the assembly passed it or put it on their legislative calendars. I spoke to Senator Skoufis. He said if we can get the home rule request done within the next couple of weeks, it would be able to be on their plate before the end of this season for them.
Good. And how about the assembly members?
The assembly members are behind it.
Good.
We've spoken to them as well.
Great, thank you.
Fantastic.
Great, yeah.
Anybody else?
I met with the COBA union. I told them that we would do what we could to enhance this. It's not a guarantee. The Assembly and the Senate have to run with it from here. This is just us saying that we think it's a great idea. Please do this for our employees, because it's a hazard to the family. This is about not the corrections officers, because if it kicks in, they're already gone. This is for their families. And I know a lot of them are in the room here today to show their support and, you know, they ask us to please go forward. So I ask you all to please pass it.
Legislative Sierra?
I just got a comment. I'm in full support of this. All of you know that I was in an injury, I sustained an injury on the job. You know, I didn't have my affairs in order at the time, so having my wife, you know, try to get a will and trying to get a trust at the last minute is life-changing. So I know it's a very dangerous job, and these guys are risking their lives day in and day out. So I'm full support of this. So I'd like to be added to the resolution, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to be added.
Okay, would everybody else
Everybody
agree?
on it,
Okay, we're gonna put all. Do you have that, Rick? I can sympathize with that because I actually left corrections on a full disability. And being in a room with 300 prisoners and 4 officers and getting severely hurt to the point that I have had multiple surgeries, I understand completely. And I didn't have anything in order at that point either. You just don't think about it. And it could have turned out a lot worse than it was. But so it's definitely, we need to stand behind our officers and the families. The families make a lot of sacrifices every time somebody walks out the door and they're not sure, because we literally get locked up. Just like we're a criminal and we can't leave. So if somebody doesn't show up, you're not leaving. If something happens, you're not leaving. You can, as we've learned just in the last one, there were a lot of officers who didn't get out of the jail when they had the strike. And they were in the jail until they were able to leave, which was, I think it was a couple of weeks and stuff. So I am 100% behind this. I think you have the support, and you'll have the support of the whole legislature. And anything we can do to actually, you know, push for the information to get out to our state representatives to keep them on board and to vote in favor of this would be.
I can attest to it. Our corrections folks do an awesome job. They just found a shank in the jail yesterday. I mean, that could have turned out very badly, and these folks are on alert all the time. They can't ever shut down. Even when they go home, it's difficult to shut down. They deserve this extra benefit.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
right, anybody else have anything to say? Last chance to speak.
So your sheriff's.
What he said.
Yeah, just tell him how great he is. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed?
If so, you have to leave the room.
All right. And we are on to B. Request a reallocation and appropriation of funds for the 2025 capital expense for proposed project number 122 in the 2020 capital plan for preliminary engineering and design for the range building to be used for sheriff range training for county and regional training. Originally, the full funding was in 2026. It was $2.9 million. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. This is a secret type 2 action as the preliminary work is to determine feasibility of construction that does not commit the county to undertake, fund, or approve project. It's in the amount of $100,000. It will be bonding and it's legislative request 152.
So moved.
Rob and Barry.
So this is a long time coming. As you know, we have a beautiful range and it's used every day. We have a trailer, it was our emergency response trailer that's decades old, that is seated at the range currently that we use for protection from the elements as well as processing HR 218s and other range activities. It's not enough room to actually train people. So we're looking at putting a building on the range with a tower so that we can monitor the range from above, like most professional rangers are, and have a lower level where we'll be able to train our folks inside out of the elements. So they're, you know, if it starts to snow or whatnot, they can still work inside on the range. They don't have to go find another building to go to.
Any questions on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. On to letter C, request the reallocation and appropriation of funds for the 2025 capital expense for proposed project number 123 for preliminary engineering and design for a new K-9 facility to be used for the sheriff's K-9 facility training and support in the amount of $250,000. Originally, the funding was to begin in 2026. Fiscal year 2026 funding was 2.5 million. Fiscal 2027 funding was 2.25 million. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. This is a secret type 2 action as the preliminary work is to determine feasibility of construction that does not commit the county to undertake, fund, or approve the project. This is under 6 New York CRR 617.5C. It's in the amount of $250,000. It will require bonding and it's legislative request 153.
So
Rod and Joel, and the floor is yours again.
So I have First Sergeant Jeremy Yellett here, who heads up the K-9 division. He can explain more about the old facility and the need for a new facility. So I'll let him take the floor.
Thanks, Sheriff. Jeremy Yella, Orange County Sheriff's Office K-9 Division Supervisor. I've been the supervisor for the division for a few years now. I've been in the K-9 business for about 20 years, having handled about three dogs. Currently still a handler. Whether you know or not, our facility is at the southern end of the Orange County Airport grounds off East Kaisertown Road in Montgomery. It was built over 30 years ago. It's a pole barn, basically a pole barn, with a couple offices, one bathroom, boiler room, and some kennels, and that's about it. We have full-time K-9 instructors in there. We don't only instruct our own K-9 handlers, we instruct over 25 different agencies throughout the county that come to us on a daily basis. We've grown out of it. It's basically what's happening. The walls, there's part of the ceilings you can see through. The cement walls, there's cracks in it. We can't leave our canines in any of the kennels overnight because the critters will come in, the rats will come in. They'll deposit what they deposit, and if a dog gets into any of that, it could be deadly for any of those animals. So we've kind of worn out our welcome at this facility. It served us well. However, we're expanding as a unit. Our training is expanding throughout the Hudson Valley. And we're looking to also move it out of the Montgomery area and bring it here home to Goshen, the sheriff's office campus. When you first pull in on Wells Farm Road, right there on the right. And that's what our plan is. And we're looking to allocate this money for architecture and engineering to make sure that that's the correct area to put it in. And waiting an extra year for 2026, we may not make it with this building the way it is right now.
Just recently, we repaired the floor, and that was just a Band-Aid on the building.
It was.
I was gonna say that, right, yeah.
Yeah, there was holes in the floor.
The 2x4s originally that were put in 30 years ago were put in flat, not standing straight up. That was not fixed. That was not part of the $40,000. They could only put new tiles on top of the flat 2x4s. They're starting to break again, and that was only 2 years ago, if you recall. We're putting traffic cones inside on top of the holes in the floors, so the dogs don't put their paws in there and break their legs. That's where we're
I
at.
believe this has been on our agenda for what, 4 years now, Gentlemen?
Yes.
At least when we started talking about it, as far as where we were gonna move on that, so, but coming up
So,
with something.
so we're there.
Yeah.
We pay a rent for that building as
We
well.
do.
And my fear is if I have to keep maintaining the building, we're gonna get pushed out as the airport grows. And I know that they're looking at expanding, building some more buildings at the airport, maybe lengthening the runway. And it's just gonna make it more difficult for us with the dogs there.
Is it up?
I think makes more sense to move it out to your campus, so it's right there. I remember, that goes back to Sheriff Bigger. So I've been around a long time, so I remember when that was built, and I remember the last time you were here, the floors were just, caving in. Is there a fee structure with these outside agencies coming in using our
There
facility?
is no fee structure, no, sir.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
So, Gary, you want to be added to this, or do you have a question?
I have a question,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I would like to.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Have we, I'm trying to remember, have we done any even preliminary site evaluations and looking on the campus at possible options? So how far along are we in that
So
process?
when the medical examiner's office was being built, they took a portion of our property and flattened it out for a parking area for all the construction vehicles. That's the area where we're looking at. It's already pretty much graded and ready to go.
So then the engineering work would be to kind of hopefully confirm that that's the best location.
Yeah, a lot of the other areas are swampy.
Any other questions? Any other legislators? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, passed. Letter D, request the reallocation and appropriation of funds for the 2025 capital expense for proposed capital project number 115 for the capital improvement of exterior perimeter security doors and frames. To replace exterior security doors and frames, egress doors from yards, and emergency egress in housing units. The doors are weathered and failing. Door security is becoming compromised. That's $500,000. Originally, $150,000 requested for the 2025. Funding was for 4 years as follows. 2025 was $500,000, 226 was $350,000, 227 or 2027 funding was $350,000. 2028 funding was $300,000. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. This is $500,000 bonding. It's legislative request 151. Second, and Janet.
Before I
Could
let
you explain
my
that?
undersheriff dig in, I just want to say, we saw what happened down south, and we understand that there were some inside issues with an escape, but we're going to give our correction officers all the tools they need and make sure our equipment is up to date and working properly so that we maintain the security of the facility. It's unfortunate that the doors are just aging and they're becoming almost useless. Like A lot of the doors are push button to open, but the correction officers are assisting it opening because they're getting tired. And maybe you can elaborate more.
You stole my thunder. The building is 25 years old, and like a home, you have to continue maintenance and upgrade doors, equipment, et cetera. They're actually getting to the point where it is becoming a security issue, because if they continue to disintegrate the way that they are, somebody's going to be able to just kick the door out, and we can't have that. It's a huge security concern. And no, we don't want that yet.
Yeah, we don't want to be on the news. Not at all.
It'd probably be more than 10.
I don't have to take glasses.
Does anybody have any questions regarding that? All right, if not, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? All right, thank you. We're on to E. Request the reallocation and appropriation of funds for the 2025 capital expense proposal, project number 113, for the dock vehicle Sally Port, which is the VSP, and facility-wide replacement and maintenance of individual cells, $575,000. Originally, $525,000 was requested for 2025. Funding to be allocated as follows. 2026 through 2029 would be $525,000 per year. 2030 would be $475,000. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. This is for $575,000. It's bonding and it's legislative request 166.
So moved.
Second.
Jen?
All right, steal your thunder.
3 different projects, basically along the same lines of the fact that the building is 25 years old. The first one I'm going to talk about is the loading dock, and this is where trucks are backing up into the loading dock to bring mostly food type stuff into the kitchen, and usually it's very industrial sized cans and that type of thing. The loading dock itself, 2 things. One, when it was built at the wrong height, so it doesn't line up with the trucks itself. But the other part of it is that the cement on it has disintegrated so much that the rebar is showing through. And the kitchen workers have to use carts with wheels on them to roll over this. And there's, for lack of a better word, divots in there that the wheels are going to get stuck in. If this cart tips over on top of one of those workers with those cans or whatever, we're going to have somebody get injured. So that 2 things for the dock need to be corrected. The vehicle Sally Port, which is the enclosed area where the patrol cars either come in or go out with the prisoners. And when you step out into the Sally Port again, it's the cement that's disintegrating. It's a trip hazard. And if we have an inmate that trips and falls or an officer that trips and falls, we have a liability issue there. That's been disintegrating and again, down to the rebar. And I think some of that is caused by in and out with the cars in the wintertime with the salt coming in and dropping on it. And it just needs to be maintained and corrected. And the third thing is the individual cells. And I know I'm being redundant. The building is 25 years old. And these individual cells, they have toilets and sinks and windows in, little windows in the door that are starting to come apart. And I think you all remember at one point we talked about where we did find a weapon that was part of the window that they had taken out and created a shank out of it. We're having a hard time with supply issues because some of these parts are obsolete. So we have to start doing the individual cells from a safety standpoint and just a maintenance standpoint.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, if not, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, on to the corrections report.
All right, this is the easy part. So for the month of April, our average daily population was 456, so we're kind of gradually going up. We currently have 21 vacancies, and our revenue to date for boarders is $2,019,300.
Year to date.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions about the corrections report? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the sheriff's report.
I have Lieutenant Lance Sonner here, who loves public speaking.
It's my forte.
Good afternoon, everybody. We have a couple of things to cover here. Our you can look at our numbers are up, we're getting into the busy season here, things are gonna continue to get busy. As you're aware, we have been working on getting our civil division accredited, which has been completed, so they've received their accreditation. That's taken us about a year and a half, so that's a big achievement for us. Upcoming, we have the fly car program. So we have our deputies going through getting certified for their medical training. And the intent there is that they'll be out patrolling in the areas where we have delayed responses throughout the county for medical calls. So they'll be able to help give people medical care, hopefully reduce prolonged injuries, so on and so forth. So that is moving forward as well. Upcoming, we have the Junior Law Enforcement Academy, which is a 5-day summer program for school-age students. We opened that up, and within 2 days, it was completely booked. So we have a massive turnout for that, which is really good. Hopefully that'll expand in the future as well. So big turnout for that. Ongoing, we have our commercial vehicle enforcement. So the guys are continuing to work down there in the Woodbury area, Monroe, Montgomery, Hamptonburg. This month, we had a pretty egregious one. We had a trailer that was about 50,000 pounds overweight, which is like 62% overweight on what it was. It was rated for 80,000 pounds. It had almost 130, just shy of 130,000 pounds. Had defective trailer tires. One of them had steel belts showing. One was actually falling off of the rim. The driver was suspended and didn't have any medical licensing. So he had a bunch of out of services, but we've got some pretty egregious stuff coming out of that. I mean, it's a dangerous thing, and that area is prone for those kind of accidents. So that's ongoing as well. They're doing great work out there, and it's, like I said, busy season we're going into. The boat will be out on the water. We're launching that. We have the president coming in to West Point this weekend. So we're gonna kick things off with a big event. You know, we're gonna be down there, the boat's gonna be in the water, and patrol is just busy, busy, busy.
I have one question on the fly car.
Yes.
I know we have certain cars that we're going to be training officers for and doing that. Are we actually training some of the officers that may not actually be in a fly car, but would still be able to get the training so that if they were on patrol?
There's specific EMT training for the officers that are going to use that particular car, but all of our deputies have CPR training, basic first aid. They have different medical kits in their cars and whatnot. They all carry AEDs. Believe it or not, all the police in the county are probably practicing CPR on a regular basis. We just don't read about it. And you know, they're the first line to get there. They start it out, and then the EMTs take over. So.
Well, I was just kind of looking like if you had officers that went out that were in that and you didn't have other people who were trained to, you know, fill in or for overtime or any of that, if we were actually training officers that may not be assigned to that, but would still be able to, if they could, get the training.
Our deputies, if they're interested in becoming an EMT, they could contact the training officer, and we would certainly send them.
Yeah, all right, fantastic, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Relative to the junior law enforcement, how many students are there going to be in the program this year? It's a total class, sir.
I think she's got like 26 per class.
Close to 30.
30.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
It'll get bigger. This is our first go at it, so we're doing it a little test drive to see how it works, and then next year it'll probably be a lot bigger.
Yeah, I think Warwick's maybe 3 years into its program and quickly expanded to 2 one-week sessions.
Town of Crawford's got an incredible program. They break it up into platoons. They have so many children.
Well, it's pretty sizable. It's
Yeah.
not that big, but it's very fun.
Not to really go.
We ask you about transportation?
Not at this time.
With the turnout we have, hopefully it'll grow, you know, now that we know what kind of response we got, so the next go around. Hopefully the program will grow.
Fantastic. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
And with that, that's the end of our agenda. So I'll take a motion to
So moved.
close.
Second.
Okay, and thank you so much.
So sorry, I had a drum start.